is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, lighting the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of the Planet B podcast. Today, we'll continue our deep dive from climate heating to climate healing. Dr. Rao, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you. Thank you for making this happen.
If you don't mind, if you could start with the opening quote of chapter 19.
Yeah, the opening quote is from Stephanie Pace Marshall, and she said, adding wings to caterpillars does not create butterflies. Right? So we have to choose to transform from within to the climate healing phase, from the climate heating phase. So we have to first recognize that our notions of superiority, saying that all this technology we have created will make us so powerful. Look how powerful we are. All that nonsense has to go.
Right.
Right? So it is puncturing the ego of humanity, first and foremost, thinking that we are superior to animals and to all other life on the planet.
Yeah. So right at the beginning of chapter 19, you state that we have to choose to transform from the climate heating phase to a climate healing phase.
Right.
So what exactly does that mean?
So right now, we have been heating the planet. Heating meaning we are setting all kinds of fires everywhere. We literally were heating the planet. And we are destroying forests. We are extracting for ourselves. It's like, there's an insatiable hunger. We are grabbing, right?
Yeah.
And now we have to choose to restore. We have to choose to cool the planet. And we have to choose to stabilize the climate of the planet and choose to stabilize the life support systems of the planet. Why? Because we want this planet to be our permanent home. There is no other place to go to and create a home. And that too. I mean, I imagine, people saying, oh, we're going to go create life support systems on Mars or life support systems on the moon. And you're starting from scratch. And you ask them why? Because this is destroyed. Can we not fix this? Isn't it easier to fix this than to go off somewhere else? Isn't that an absurd path to follow? Right? So we have to choose to want to fix this and to maintain it forever. Okay? And see this as a permanent home and the animals as our fellow passengers on spaceship Earth. And in fact, they are the ones who wanted us to create homeostasis for planet Earth. So I say, start thinking of them as your boss. And so that's going from ego to eco phase. So there's an eco phase, which is where we are equal to all the animals, all the other beings. But before you get to the eco phase, I say you have to go through the seva phase. And seva means service, selfless service. Selfless service to the other life forms on Earth. Okay? Only then are we going to be able to recover the life support systems of the planet and heal them and to repair them.
Right.
Because if you look at the planetary boundary transgressions, the worst transgression is loss of biodiversity. Right? The loss of wild animals. Why are we losing them? Because they don't have enough food, they don't have enough water, and their habitats being destroyed and it's being polluted and so on. So now we have to restore their habitats, make sure that they have enough food, make sure that they have enough clean water to drink, fresh water to drink. So we have to tell them we want you.
Right.
We want you to stay. We want you to be here with us. And that requires us to serve them, literally. Right? So you're not here to take from them, you're here to give to them.
Right.
So we have to sort of undo the damage that we did. And that's what the seva phase is all about. Where you serve the wild animals, where you bring back their habitats, we bring back, there was one waste treatment plant that I was touring. And it's a waste treatment plant for a city, right? They showed me how they treat the water. And at the end, they said, this water is drinkable, according to the USDA, the US Department of Agriculture. It's a drinkable water. I said, so then why don't you feed it back to the drinking water system of your city? They said, no, we cannot do that. I said, why not? They said, because it's still full of pharmaceuticals and other chemicals.
Oh dear.
That they don't check. They only check for biological contamination. They don't check for chemical contamination.
Oh dear.
Right? So I said, okay, then what are you doing with it? They created a whole lake out of it outside the waste treatment plant. And I said, why are you letting the birds drink that if
Mm.
you wouldn't allow humans to drink that? So wild animals are, they're not getting filtered water. They're getting the polluted water from us.
Right.
We filter the water and drink it. So we have reverse osmosis, all kinds of things, to make sure that our water is healthy. But they're getting the water straight. And so this is why they're all dying. There are there's lots of reasons, but the water is not clean, the food is not clean, the food is not available, they don't have enough shelter, habitats are being taken away from them, and they're being, killed, right? We are going around doing lethal conservation, which is we say there are too many deer, so we go and kill a bunch of deer. You'll be killing mothers, so the children don't have
Right.
any mothers, and then they die. So nature always amplifies what you do, right?
All right.
So we have to now go and beg them to stay. So that's the saver phase. And that's what I
Right.
see happening in places like Sadhana Forest. Sadhana Forest, they're not growing any food for human beings because it's intended for wild animals. We are there to serve the wild animals. We are there to make sure that they have enough food to live on, they have drinking water to live on, and then they're happy and they'll keep coming back.
And do you see that style of living and rewilding in conservation as being a model for Planet B, where that style would kind of be replicated around the world?
Absolutely. I see that as the quintessential Planet B project, Sadhana Forest, So it's a project where you're restoring life, restoring wildlife. You're undoing the damage that happened.
So could you take us through a little bit more about Sedona Forest for people like me? I've never visited there. Give us a mental image of that style of living in the rewilding effort that they're doing.
Yeah, it was barren land 20 years ago. And basically, volunteers from around the world came together and they first created water retention structures. So they dug up lakes, so to speak, so that the rainwater would stay there. And then they planted native trees that used to be there. And they managed to get the first few trees growing. And then they built the soil in that area. A lot of the soil is built with human waste, by the way. And people who come to Sadhana Forest are all going to be vegan because they only serve vegan food, healthy vegan food, so that the waste from human beings is non-toxic.
Right.
Okay, so then that waste is composted into soil. And there was even a joke, someone said that Sadhana Forest is a scam to get poop from people. Right. So because that's what they're doing, they're converting that into soil. It takes about a year for it to compost and become soil, human waste, and that soil is used in restoring the forest.
It sounds like the elephants and the jackfruit.
Absolutely, yeah, it's the same thing. I'm imagining, when you have sadhana forests like that in other places, like now they're doing it in Meghalaya, and there are 3 centers in Meghalaya. And Meghalaya used to be full of forests. And then they discovered that there is coal there. So they went and destroyed the forest to dig out the coal.
Mm.
And now we are trying to restore the forest that used to be there, right? It's the same kind of work that needs to be done there as well. And so it's a project in which the wild animals are the ones you're serving, right? They're not there to serve us. We are there to serve them. So the people who live in Sadhana Forest, they're not expecting luxury accommodations. So it's a comfortable place that you can sleep in, and it's got a nice kitchen where you can work together, and it's a community kitchen, and all the meals are eaten together. But the objective is to restore the forest. That's why they're there. Right? And people come and go. Some people come and stay for a couple of years. There are people who have been there for a long time too. But a lot of people come and go. They stay for a month, couple of months, and they volunteer. Whatever skills you have, you can bring them and you deploy them for that purpose. So I imagine sadhana forests around the world, right? Similar sadhana forests where you're restoring your local forests or your local mangroves or your local prairies that used to be there. So trying to restore the original ecosystems that used to be there. So that the Earth's life support systems become stable again.
And what we see is over the 20 years of Sadhana Forest, it went from barren land, and now 20 years later, what does it look like and how has it changed?
It's lush green, and it's a great place to go live in, to stay in. You immediately feel connected when you go there. I walk around barefoot everywhere. It has Wi-Fi, so it has connectivity, so it has internet. And it has solar panels for collecting energy from the sun and batteries so that you can have some energy at night as well. It's not a luxury accommodation for people to put their feet up and expect things to get done. You are there to help get things done. So think of yourself as firefighters for the planet. You're putting out the fire for the planet. Firefighters are not expecting, to live in a big mansion in between their bucket brigade duties.
Yeah. And then the animals you mentioned as well. So from barren land, the forest has returned, lush green has returned in 20 years. Have the animals come back as well?
Yeah, some animals have come back. You see a lot of birds have come back. Some of the wild animals, wild pigs have come back. But some of the predators have not come back yet. So yeah, it's a process, right? So you have to bring back the predators. So you create this balance. And as you grow this in the neighborhood, now the water levels have come back in the villages surrounding Sadhana Forest.
Wow.
Water levels have increased by 15 feet, I think.
So it's incredible what can happen in 20 years when you have this small dedicated group that is just focused on this rewilding effort. And then if you were to multiply that around the world, it's incredible how fast we could restore the ecosystems of this planet using this Planet B systems approach.
Absolutely. You have to systematically want that to be your objective function. You have to change the objectives of civilization to be not about extraction, but about restoration.
All right.
So we'll go into how you would do this systematically, in the following chapters. But basically, I'm saying that we need to use our systems know-how to understand why the system is behaving the way it is today, and to design new systems that behave the way they should if you want a thriving planet. So we must all agree that we want a thriving planet first.
All right. And that kind of transitions into your Judy Carmen's concept of Homo ahimsa, which means kind hominid. So could you share a little bit about that terminology?
Yeah, right now we call ourselves the wise hominid, Homo sapiens, and our actions are nothing but furthest from wisdom that I've seen, right?
Right.
But we call ourselves the wise hominid. So it's complete misnomer, right? And it's a little bit like we are puffing out our chest, saying, look at us, look at who we are. But it's a phase that you go through. So you basically build up your strength. So we now have built up our strength, okay, to do our job. And now we have to become the kind hominid, Homo ahimsa of Judy Carmen, in order to deploy our strength for the well-being of all life.
That's so beautiful. That's such a great. I love that term, and I'm glad it just fits so well with everything related to Planet B.
Judy wrote about that way back, in her first book, Peace to All Beings.
Hmm.
She called it the transformation from Homo sapiens to Homo ahimsa.
Hmm. So now at the end of chapter 19, you highlighted that rewilding Planet B requires implementing 7 core shifts.
Mhm.
So if you don't mind, we could go through these one by one. So core shift number one was to go from speciesism, colonialism, racism, ableism, and patriarchy to veganism and radical sacredness. So could you just share a little bit about that?
Correct. Yeah, we have all these isms in our system. It's all about saying who is better than who. And speciesism meaning, humans are better than all the other animals. Yeah, so human life is worth infinitely more than all other life, right?
So silly.
So that's the kind of valuation that we do on nature.
Mm.
Okay. I even disagree with putting value on nature.
Mhm.
This is nature is worth $7 trillion or whatever it is. Then you figure.
So silly. I can't, yeah, it's incredible. It
I
makes so much
know.
sense too when you say it like that.
Yeah. So it has to be radical sacredness.
Hmm.
So radical sacredness meaning nature is priceless. There is no
Yeah.
way you can put price on it. Okay. So
All right.
don't even think about it. And you have to have that built into the system, this idea of
Hmm.
radical sacredness. And all the other isms like, racism, colonialism, and patriarchy. It's all about seeing the other as different from us, and the other is always inferior to us.
Right.
Okay, so there is a privileged class and an underprivileged class. That's how we do this, right? Across. And then we treat the underprivileged class as if they were objects.
Hmm.
We see them as body parts instead of individuals, So that's the kind of isms that we have in the current system. I'm saying we have to our minds have to change, that we don't see that anymore.
Right.
And we have to see, all life as sacred, and veganism meaning we don't exploit them for any purpose whatsoever.
That is so true. That's exactly where we need to go.
That's
So
exactly, yeah.
course, yeah, so course shift number two is going away from a mindset of scarcity and moving towards a mindset of abundance.
Correct, yeah. So, and it's coded in the currency mechanism, the mindset of scarcity. So the system on planet A begins by telling you that it's a scarce world we are in,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I have some money. If you do what I tell you, then I will let you have some abundance, right? And so people figure out how to get money for themselves. And then they try to hoard it and keep it to themselves, and then they get scammed out of it. And it's so this whole game, right? That's the mindset of scarcity that drives us in this current system. So we have to have that
Yeah.
mindset of abundance, meaning you are constantly being generous. Why? Because you know that there is more coming your way.
So true.
So that's the kind of currency system we are designing for Planet
Mm.
B, where, initially people said you don't even need any currency. But I said, we have to have some way of measuring our impact and measuring that
Hmm.
we stay below a certain threshold, right? And so that's why I say that that there's some measurement that needs to happen. That's the currency that we are talking about. And that has to be a currency that gives you a mindset of abundance. Meaning you're giving away things because you know that you're supported.
All right.
You're figuring out how to give away more of your gifts.
That's wonderful. So culture shift number three is talking about moving away from a culture of consumerism and towards a culture of compassion. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Cultural consumerism says that I don't have enough. I need more. I need more. Right? And we have a system that actually convinces you that you are less than who you are.
So true. Yeah.
Right? Constantly trying to tell you, hey, did you measure up to this ideal?
Yeah.
Or you haven't measured up to that ideal? Then you need this to get to that ideal, right? So there's a constant messaging that happens in the system to tell you that you are less than who you are.
This actually goes back to the previous chapter, but we didn't mention it, was the advertising. That all is done very systematically through advertising on Planet A.
Absolutely, yeah. And advertising is one of the primary activities of the corporations, right?
Yeah.
Because if they don't advertise, they shrink and die. They're constantly trying to grow, and that's where the pathology comes in. When you are constantly trying to grow. So this is why the culture of consumerism has to change to a culture of compassion, where you're there to alleviate suffering, help others, and because you are already full, you don't need any more
Right.
for yourself. So you have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Living that way just feels so good too, because there's no greater feeling than helping someone, and in the end that actually it helps yourself as well.
Correct.
It's a system of love and upliftment.
Yeah, but you have to create a system around it, right? That's the
Right.
thing. Yeah,
Right.
because currently the system is dragging us down. And systems are human engineered, and I'm saying any human engineered system you can change anytime you want. You can just choose to say, okay, I'm done with this, I'm going to move on to that one.
I choose that now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so core shift number 4. So moving away from a money-driven economy and moving towards a service-driven economy.
Right, yeah. So money-driven economy, meaning the accumulation of money is the primary purpose.
Right.
Right. And so that becomes the main game that you're playing today. Whereas money should be just a means to direct your resources and your gifts.
Yeah.
And it's all towards serving the whole. To serve the whole, you realize there are certain things that need to get done. And then you ask people, who wants to give their gifts for this?
Right.
And that's how resources get allocated. I mean, right now it's all about serving one or two people, right? A few people. Right? And that's where the pull is coming from. It's a service-driven economy as opposed to a money-driven economy.
All right. Okay, so core shift number 5 is moving away from diseases and divisions among humanity.
So right now, in the system, diseases are nurtured in the system. And I'll give you examples, of how that happens. You're taught in schools to eat the wrong foods so that you will grow up to be a diabetes patient or a heart disease patient. So, and you are also, as a child, you're given candy at eye level in supermarkets. So everyone is trying to con you into getting addicted to eating bad foods. Okay. So this is why people are becoming more and more unhealthy as time progresses. Diseases are nurtured in the system because that's the source of extracting money back from you. So think of this as a game, money game, in which those who are creating the money, they always create the money in the form of loans. They want it all back. And you are trying to cling to it. You're holding on to the money, right? And they want it all back. How do you get it back from someone who's hoarded it? Well, make them sick. Then they'll take it out of their wallet and give it to you.
Doesn't sound very harmonious, if you ask me.
It's not. Yeah. It's a game of competition and a game of figuring out how can I help my tribe survive over the other tribe. So there's divisions and diseases. That's what's being fostered in the current system in planet A. And I'm saying it has to be unity because why? We have one planet and we have a common purpose of restoring the life support systems on that planet and stabilizing it. Until you restore the life support systems and stabilize it, you better be united in that job, right? So we become like an engineering team who's doing that together. And so that's what we need to foster on planet B.
That's beautiful. So course shift number 6 is to move away from death and cruelty towards animals and move towards love and kindness towards animals.
Right. Yeah. If you watch the movie Earthlings and you see what is really happening to the animals that we raise and use. I mean, I watched that and I felt like I didn't want to belong to my species anymore. I wanted to disown my species. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Right? So the amount of cruelty that's happening, wanton cruelty that's happening to the animals. And, and then they're getting killed even as they're just babies who are getting killed. So, but our natural instinct is to love them, is to be kind to them. And I want that to become normalized. Right? That's what needs to be normalized on planet B. So there is nothing happening behind closed doors that you have to hide from children. You have to hide from, in fact, nowadays we have to hide them from adults as well, because adults would be horrified if they saw that movie.
Yes.
But a lot of adults know this and they don't want to watch it, right? Because they don't want to be disturbed by that.
Course shift number 7 is to move away from death and pollution of the planet and move towards remediation and regeneration of the planet.
Yeah. So I went to relationship between each other, then relationship with the animals. So how do you relate to the entire planet? Right now we see the planet as objects that we can exploit we can extract for money, for making money. So there's destruction and pollution of the planet that happens. So we see the planet as a bunch of resources that we can extract for making money, and then the waste from our industrial processes, we can throw it away. And the planet will somehow figure it out. Right? And the planet is now saying, I cannot handle this level of pollution. And I'm marinating in it, and I may die. And if I die, I'm going to take it down with me.
Right.
Right. So we have to, the last step of changing from destruction and pollution to regeneration and remediation is essential for us to continue living on this planet. So that's the course. That's the last step that needs to happen. Course shift.
All right. So Dr. Rao, I want to just add this question at the end because I think it's something that all of us as vegans we deal with, and it's a challenge for us. Is we interact with a lot of people that want to keep their heads in the sand. Like you mentioned how a lot of people, they don't want to watch Earthlings, and in a way they don't want to know the truth. So what's the best way to deal with some of these challenging situations that we face?
Well, deal with them with compassion. Know that, they are scared. And it is frightening what's happening. Right? It's frightening. But we have the ones who have the good news.
So true.
Good news is that there is a way out. And it's a way out that's based on science. So we can show that systematically we can reverse this. There is a path forward. And that it's part of something much, much larger. Okay?
Yeah.
The earth has been in charge. So we have to tell that story. The earth has been in charge and she has done this through us. She has created homeostasis for herself. Whether we like it or not, she's going to have, either she's going to have homeostasis for herself or she's going to die with all of us dying with her, right? So she's going to die trying.
Is there any final message you'd like to share as we wrap up chapter 19 from climate heating to climate healing?
It's an inevitable transformation that we are going to undertake sooner or later. And I say the sooner we do it, the easier it will be for us. And so please come along as quickly as possible. You have no time to lose.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. This has been episode 19 of the Planet B podcast. And thank you all so much for joining us. Episode 20 will be the core values transformation. Thank you all and have a wonderful day. We'll see you again. Bye.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where dinner doesn't involve denial. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.
Thank you. Hello. Go ahead, Danny.
This is a question from the chat from Michael.
Hmm.
Is setting a forest on privately owned or government-owned land? If the latter, are there any hoops to jump through to do everything that needs to be done? Maybe a little
Right.
history on Sadhana Forest.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Sadhana Forest is in a town called Auroville, which was basically donated by the government to the Auroville Trust, I believe. And the mission of the trust was to create a new civilization that integrates all humanity into a kind world. So Auroville is designed, Auroville's mission is to become like what Climate Healers is saying we should be doing for Planet B. Right? And Sadhana Forest is land that was leased by Auroville to the Sadhana Forest Trust. So it's like Sadhana Forest is a subsidiary of Auroville. So it's leased land. And 70 acres of leased land. It used to be in the corner over there, and it was all rocky and no one really knew what to do with it. And that's where they started this. And if you go to Auroville, to get to Sadhana Forest, you have to cross the highway and go the other side. And so it's like, yeah, it's in that sense isolated. So the government is now coming down quite hard on Auroville. I know that there was some turmoil going on in the last couple of years. But basically, the government is asking, where is it? Where is the city that you promised us? So they're putting some pressure on the Auroville Foundation to deliver on what they said they were going to do, which is basically Planet B.
And when you say
Right.
leased, what is that kind of arrangement?
I think it's like 100-year lease or something like that, meaning they're not going to get kicked out of that. As long as
Are
they
they
do what
paying
say.
for it?
I don't think so. I don't think they're paying for it, but I don't know about the financial details. Okay, I have to be careful about that.
Thank you.
I do know that there were some developers who wanted to come and take over that land. They said it's at the corner over there, and they wanted to buy it, and because it's prime real estate now. And Aviram actually told me that he told them, even if you kill me, I'll come back and haunt you. Make sure that this doesn't get changed into a development. So anyway, that's one of the stories he told me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Brittany?
So before in the previous episodes, you were talking about, I'm pretty sure you were talking about minimalism in those. And then in this one, it's about abundance. So what are your thoughts on the idea of minimalistic abundance, where we minimize the bad, like what's unnecessary, and then increase the good, like what we need?
Right. That's the right way to get to abundance. Automatically you'll get to abundance when you have a minimalist mindset. You'll discover that you have plenty around you, right? So you'll feel the abundance around you. So basically when you reduce your so-called needs, then most of them are not really needs. They're all wants. When you reduce your wants so that you have minimalist needs, then abundance becomes normal in your lifestyle. Yeah,
It's like two sides of the same coin, right?
exactly.
There
Exactly.
you go.
Thank you. Jenny?
Hello. So I'm asking this question on behalf of someone else. So I'm going to
Mm.
read the question. And it's about the new money system. So the
Mm.
question is, how will new technologies emerge and scale? For example, someone would have made Windows operating system, but what would motivate them to scale it and sell it to the entire world? This
Right.
is a this is a two-part question, invention and scale. Inventions will keep coming because people are curious, but what about scaling?
Right. So it has to start with, like maybe a small city like Oroville or some place where you can test out the new money system, okay? Where you're basically giving out allowances from nature, and then based on how well nature is doing in that area, you regulate it. So you have to create feedback loops. So that's what the money system is based on. And the goal is to restore the life support systems of the planet. That's what it's intended for. And so you stay within the bounds of the planet, right? And restore the life support systems. And the fact that you get this regular cadence of money pulls you out of the donut, out of the hole in the donut. So meaning your basic needs are met. And so you're fostering volunteerism through this kind of mechanism. Okay. Now you have to run these minimum viable experiments. So I'm calling on a few cities to come along and give me the platform so we can try these things.
Mm,
Right? Give us the platform to try these things. And once they try it out, it becomes like everybody's looking to see how is it working out.
mm,
And if that city now has no more hunger, if there's no more homelessness, imagine that, right?
mm,
Then people will say, why are we still stuck in this one? We should be over there. It's maturing see, we have to mature as a species. Because right now we are we are literally behaving like 5-year-olds. I didn't get this. I want more. I want more. Right? So
mm,
it's uh, we have that mindset. In fact, it reminds me. It's like we are saying we're not going to change unless we get the Nobel Prize from the other
mm.
animals. You know? Right? It's
Yeah.
exactly that. So I don't blame anyone for doing what they're doing, because basically they're illustrating this is who we really are. This is
Mm,
how we have been behaving as far as the other animals are concerned. And so the other animals are saying, when are you going to wake up and grow up and start taking care of your job? Our responsibility is to stabilize and maintain the life support systems of the planet. And we are not yet adult enough to do it, right? So how do you create a money system that would allow us to coordinate our actions and become that? And that's this architecture that I'm
mm.
proposing.
Okay. If
Yeah.
you could pick like, I don't know, like any city in the US, like do you have like I think it'd be great if we did a test run here.
Oh, test run here. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe Seattle would be a great place. I mean, some large city that runs an experiment like this
Mm,
would basically everybody will be looking at it. Or LA,
mm,
everybody will be looking at it. And when you make that successful, when you eliminate hunger, of course, the current system is going to try and fight it, right? So we have to
sure.
get the current system to stay
Yeah.
away, right? So one of the pacts should be that they are going to let us do an honest experiment and check it out,
Mm,
right? And so we need that kind of honesty and integrity in the process. Okay, we're
mm.
going to try it out and see how it works out. Yeah. Oh, New York City. Yeah, New York City has a mayor who's sounding radical, right? So
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. They say, in a small scale, we need some minimum viable experiments that
Sure.
everybody starts looking at, and then within a few months, they all say, we want, or within a few couple of years, they all say,
Hmm.
I want to be there, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's how we will transition
Mm.
the system. So system transformation that needs to happen. System transformation of human engineered systems. And I said, these are human engineered systems that we inherited. There's no one to blame. Yeah, we inherited these things. They organically grew over centuries. Yeah. And it's all based on assumptions that were valid, that people thought were the truth maybe few hundred years ago. It's no longer true, which is no longer true. So it's about upgrading our infrastructure, upgrading our systems infrastructure.
Mm.
Yeah. Rebecca?
Thank you. I'm looking at the last page of this chapter, and it's so beautiful. Veganism and radical sacredness. And yet above it, it has speciesism, colonialism, racism, ableism, and patriarchy. I mean, I'm glad you've named those out there. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't, I'm wondering, it doesn't seem like just because you have the veganism, you're going to automatically get the, oh, I don't want to be,
Radical sacred.
or I'm not going to be patriarchal. I've got my wife doing the dishes in there or whatever. Um, and but I'm also loving the sacredness, and that makes me feel like maybe I don't even need to speak, maybe I don't even need to walk because life is so sacred. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of address how we can be sacred and still help people make the connections between speciesism, colonialism, racism.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, radical sacredness, meaning, yeah, but at the same time, you need to act, right? You say, you have a role to play. You're not there as an observer and just a statue. That, and in awe of life. I mean, it's a good place to be, in awe of life. But life is asking for help. There is, it's literally dying. All of life is literally dying in front of our eyes. And she's saying, help me to come back to health. And that's where the pull comes in for us to act. Okay. So when you go to that place where you're seeing everything as sacred, you will hear it. You will hear the call of need for action. So I cannot rest, I'm constantly working, right? And you know that. So it's until I die. I'm going to keep doing that and keep trying to reduce suffering, keep trying to help create a new system that works for everybody. Yeah. So, but the isms on the other side, it's all about, it is all about how do I gain power, right? How do I gain strength? Not just power. How do I gain strength? And so each one dominates. It's about dominating over the other, right? Now, as a result of that mindset, we have accumulated power as a species. Okay? The power to actually regulate the life support systems of the planet. We didn't have that before. This is why I'm saying it was necessary for us to go through this phase. If we had all been, meditating and being happy with life, no, no, we wouldn't have had this. We would be in an ice age. We would be glaciated right now. Right? So it's a process that we went through to become stronger as a species. And now it's a matter of deploying that strength for the well-being of all. Okay. And that is about recognizing that all the isms we need to scrap. In fact, that acronym for speciesism, colonialism, racism, ableism, and patriarchy is scrap.
good. You come up with good ones.
Yeah. And it covered a lot, right?
Yeah,
In those
there's
five things. Yeah.
oh goodness, thank you.
So it says scrap that and start veganism and radical sacredness is the new system.
Thank you.
Sure. Barb?
Hi there. I think I'm thinking a little bit on the same lines Rebecca was thinking. You know, I've got kind of a similar question, but I will say first that, like on Instagram, I'm noticing so many people who they want to get rid of colonialism and they're looking for a more beautiful earth with no prejudice and no racism
Mm-hmm.
and all of that, but they don't ever think about the food system and the animals. I keep thinking, how can I somehow tell these mega famous people that everybody's listening to,
Mm-hmm.
this is the way we could do this or that, or this is the way we could,
Yeah.
change a system really quickly, like give up dairy. I'm sure they just go right along with it right away, you
Right.
know, but yeah,
Right.
and that wasn't even my question. I guess my question is, I'm listening to all this peace and beauty and all of this, and changes, and like I have a daughter who is extremely competitive, and it seems to be natural in her system, and
Mm-hmm.
she was this great runner as a kid, and so of course we put her in it, and she wanted to be a great swimmer, and she wanted to go to the Olympics, and she
Right.
and she still competes. That's just who she is. And I think, well, on this planet B, will we have those things? Will we?
Right. Right.
Yeah. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, absolutely. We will have those, people who are excelling at things.
Mm.
Why? Because they have a song to sing
Oh,
and
nice.
they are singing it, they're belting it out. And I
That's a
say,
great
please.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are others who have songs to sing, but they're too reticent. They don't want to sing it. They're
Hmm.
holding on to it. So it's about enabling everyone to sing their songs,
Okay.
to,
Oh, I love
to
it.
live their life. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel a
Yeah.
whole lot better because um, I have a better understanding. Okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Your daughter is amazing as she is. Okay. So we will,
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
yeah. Danny.
We have two questions. The first one is from YouTube, and it's do all these 7 shifts need to happen simultaneously? Please comment.
Correct.
That's the
Correct. They all
first.
need to, well, they all happen simultaneously in a system transformation. Okay. So meaning one shift reinforces the other shift and so on. So basically uh, you cannot have a shift in which you only turn one thing and all the other 6 are sitting in the same old place because it's going to drag the others too. So think of it as a, multi-threaded screw or something. It's going to pull everything with it. So you will see, oh, I didn't address this more, so I have to go and address that in order to make everything happen.
Thank
If
you.
you understand that. Huh?
That was
So
for
because
Shankar.
ultimately it's a complete system shift of all 7 of these.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see where we are lacking, where we are lagging, and what is holding us back, and then help that.
And most of the
So
time, it's your internal network or system, the things that
correct,
hold you
correct.
back.
Yeah.
Michael asks, what would you say are the initial opportunities that can be presented to people who lack much of any sensitivities to other beings, have a coldness and a hardness of self, lacking soft spots in the heart in general, beyond
Mhm.
random acts of kindness?
Yeah, random acts of kindness will help, and also, giving them healthy food will help because that softens them, because the food itself changes our mind, changes our heart, and hardens our heart if we eat the wrong foods. So, so give them healthy food and give them kindness, and soften them up. The way to your heart is through the stomach. We've heard that, right? And that is literally true. Literally true. So give them healthy food, and then talk about what interests them and how you can help them, along this 7-dimensional axis, right? There are 7 axes. Which axis is most resonant with them? And see if they'll come along on that axis first. And then you can help them see the other axes.
So are you saying that the 7 core shifts are axes?
It's like, 7 core shifts are like 7 dimensions of the same transformation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Tammy.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yeah, when I was writing my book last year, The Essence of Sacred Relationship, and, we're all in relationship with everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It really honed in deep that that's where we show up. That's where our sacredness shows up, and that's where we're able to fine tune and grow and hold space, and and even the incredible challenge of the most sacred relationship with ourselves. And so I guess for radical sacredness, one of my meditation teachers used to say, like, the double arrow effect, like for every thought or something that goes out to the world, there needs to be one coming in. So it's like this, almost like this beautiful infinity 8 to come back and forth, and people will just mirror for us where we are still needing to fine tune our sacredness, and hopefully we can be gentle with each other while we do that.
Right.
And for me, I think that's why I wrote the book, because I think it's really important for us to know that because we have these mirrors everywhere, that's our opportunities. People aren't essentially bad or insensitive or any of that. We're just all mirrors for each other's journey. And, that alone, knowing that alone is really sacred, because it takes so much judgment out, which is so hard on our system. It's so hard on our energy field and our ability to move forward, because it's very contracting.
Right. Yeah. Radical sacredness begins with recognizing the radical sacredness of yourself, a part of the same sacredness of all life. And that you embody, what you're seeing everywhere.
And
Thank you for that comment.
I find, like in regards to what you're saying, and I find that, when I feel like a big part of something within me is healed, I don't really feel judgment around it anymore. I just feel deep compassion, because I've really been able to go deep on, where I wasn't sensitive enough, or where I projected some of my wounds onto another. And so then when I like a dance I did with my daughter for about a year, right? I just felt really hurt a lot around her. And then all I could see was how much she was hurting, and there was nothing there anymore other than just wanting, makes me sad, but just wanting to love her, right? And I think that you're right. People are wounded. Everyone's wounded. And so we can't see people as separate, because then we're just wounding ourselves further. Like, if we see them as insensitive, then we're just triggering a part of us that's been insensitive that we haven't really fully healed. And none of us can be judged home. to remember. We have to be loved home. And
Ah,
like I said,
beautiful.
on a beautiful meeting today that I was at, I said, my grandchildren, I adore them and they're not being raised vegan, but I am never going to love them any less. Oh my gosh, no. So, what do? You just love each other home gently. And that's the whole thing around calf and cow. I know I'm going on a bit, but it's just like, it's the love of, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't want anybody to rip my baby off my breast while she was suckling, right? So then it's just, people just don't know. They just don't know, right? They can't look yet because they have too much grief. That's just what I
Right.
think. They just can't look
Right.
yet because they have too much accumulated yuckiness inside that they don't feel they can handle it. That's why we have to help people get strong, like you said.
Right. Right. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Thank you all once again for a great conversation. I feel complete. See you again tomorrow,
Thank you, Dr. Rao.
for episode 20.
The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air. Every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the meta zone, light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.